Josh Martinez.
What's up, my brother?
Dude, you know, every time I talk to you, it brings a joy to my day. I don't know. You're just so bubbly and happy all the time. How do you do that?
I don't know. I honestly, but I just like, but trust me, I have my down days. I think everybody's seen it on TV. But I just like, my family's very positive. We try to see the positive and the blessing and just see the good in every situation. And I think that helps. But, dude, I have my down days. I just don't announce it. Or, I mean, when I'm on the show, I can't hide it. But yeah. I just try to see the good, dude. Just see the good in everything and in everyone. And I guess that's like my positive outlook on life.
Well, thank you for being back on the show. And now, since I'm doing this by myself, I need you to do this intro with me. Okay, so
all right, let's do it.
I'm gonna say, "Bring us in, Josh," and you're gonna say, "Welcome to," and together we'll say, "Coco Caliente." Are you ready?
All right. Yeah.
Bring us in, Josh.
Welcome to
Coco Caliente. There we go.
Yeah. Oh, that was cool. I'm taking Nick's spot.
Dude, it's so weird. Like, so at one point, Nicole and I had a conversation on the podcast where she was like, she was like the heart of the podcast, and I was kind of like the brains of it, and not in like a mean way, but where I did a lot of the conversations, but she's the one that set everything up and did everything, and like we did great together, right? Yeah. And it just sucks now, just doing all this shit on my own and her not being here, and it's weird, man. It's so.
I know.
Weird.
I was gonna ask you, because I know that it has to be really freaking, just because I feel like you guys are always together. I know you're working and all that stuff, but like I feel like you guys are always together, so it must be hard with not only her being there but also watching, dude. It has to be, because as a friend, I'm like on edge. Like, I feel defensive for her, so I'm like, I can just imagine how Victor's feeling. I like texted you the other day. I'm like, bud, how are you holding up? Because I'm ready to fight half of Twitter.
Yeah, dude. So in my normal day to day, right? The first thing somebody thinks about when like your significant other is going somewhere, it's like, oh well, it'll be nice to have maybe my own time, right? That's what you think. But dude, it wasn't but like day 2 that she was gone in sequester, and I'm just like, man, this sucks. Like as soon as I'm done doing whatever I have to do for the day, right? And now I'm back home. I'm just like, wow, I'm alone. It sucks. Yeah. So I've been trying to pick up some hobbies. Like I've been golfing, and I went kayaking, and like I don't know, just trying to do stuff. A lot of gym. Yeah, a lot of gym. I mean,
good. I mean, you're still doing the whole podcast thing, which is freaking dope, and she's doing her thing in there. And I don't know if you've been watching feeds, but I watched feeds, and I saw her have like her moment, and I was like, fuck, I know she's hurting because of Victor. I was like, it has to be so hard for her without you there, but I know that in the long game and all of that, this is going to be a huge blessing for both of you. So
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I know, like. That, and that's how I think about it. It's a great opportunity all around, and who wouldn't want to go? You know what I mean? Speaking of which, I'm so sorry for you. I know things didn't work out quite as you wanted them to. So when did you initially get the call for Big Brother?
So, dude, I found out about All Stars back in April. Mm-hmm. So I got called back in April. When you get freaking LA rings, you're like, you already know.
Your heart's dropping. You're just like,
you get the hell yeah. You see Los Angeles and you're like, holy shit, what the hell do they want from me now? So I got called and I spoke to, Sean. So they're like, hey, what are your plans this summer? And I was like, my plans? I'm like, I straight up said, are you doing All Stars? And they're like, well, it's not set yet, but yeah, we're in the works, and it's most probably happening. And I think the reason why I think people got reached out back in March, bud.
Yeah.
But yeah. I heard about people getting reached out in March. I think the reason why they reached out to me like early April was probably because they thought I was going to do Challenge, which I was.
Got you.
So I was talking to also the people from the Challenge, and that was supposed to happen in May, but then obviously with the pandemic, everything got backed up. Mm-hmm. And I committed to Big Brother, I want to say like around May, but I knew, dude. And it was weird because 100% I knew Nicole was going to be on, but I was so scared to talk to anyone because I was like, I do not want to fuck this up. I'm like, I can't mess this shot up. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't really and Nicole's one of my good friends, you're one of my good friends, but I was honestly not talking to anybody about it because I saw all the rumors.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's so scary because it'd be, if you talk to people beforehand, you're opening yourself up for that being public knowledge. That's what it comes down to, Yeah. And then when did you? Everybody has to go to a sequester. I know this season it was like a 2-week sequester and stuff like that. And then what happened when you were there?
Yeah, so I went out to LA. I think we all flew out at the same time. I was there the whole time. I was supposed to be on the show till very, very last minute. Like, honestly, 2-3 days before the premiere. Yeah, so I found out pretty late into sequester that I was out. And it sucks. I don't want to get into all of it. Obviously,
absolutely.
I just feel like, certain things, people have their speculations and their rumors and all that, and I just don't have the energy or want to put my focus. Honestly, Vic, I don't even want to put my focus into addressing and fighting that fight. I kind of just want to let it, just move on from it.
Dude.
It was hard. It was really hard, but...
I know exactly what you're talking about. It's not everybody else's business. And I remember giving you a call when I heard about it, and I was like, man, I just felt so bad, and I was like, damn, I'm sorry, bro. But that opened up, because you're going back on the challenge, correct?
I can't say, but I have something good going with challenge, so hopefully I'll be back.
Okay, so fingers crossed, right? Fingers crossed that this upcoming season, because they got pushed back, right? So So hopefully now that opened up for you to go back there and continue that career there. So I guess so obviously you're watching Big Brother, right?
Oh, dude, I think I'm more into Big Brother this season than I've ever been before. Obviously, because I have friends on there, and I was coming so close to being on. I'm hooked. I'm addicted. I don't know if you're following it as much as I am, and you're freaking, Nicole's in there. So I'm like,
I am. You know what? I'm doing my best.
I watch feeds, everything, dude. It's unhealthy at this point.
Well, I haven't been watching feeds, but you know how they have the Big Brother updates on Twitter, so you can see kind of what they're talking about, and then I'll watch the show. So I'm pretty in tune with what's going on in there. But it's just so. I'll tell you what, my stomach churns every time I watch. When it comes on TV, it's really. It's hard, and I would much rather not watch at all. But then I have to do the podcast, and then I have to know if something happens to Nicole, So it's I can't completely ignore it. But in a perfect world, I wouldn't even watch it just because it's just so weird,
Yeah, it is. I think even just not having this situation that you're in right now, it's weird in general because once you play. And that feeling never goes. It's like you have PTSD. You watch a veto ceremony and you feel like you're there. Yeah. So I have that feeling. I can just imagine with Nick being in there how you're watching this season. Because I literally watching her and watching Christmas. And even Tyler and Davon, I'm defensive, dude. If somebody says something, I'm ready to go off on Twitter. I'm ready to say something. And you're way better than me at not reacting. I want to jump all over it. But no, dude, I think that with how you're dealing with it and how you're going about it and just kind of ignoring everything and just staying positive, you're handling everything really, really good, way better than I could. So props to you.
I appreciate that. I really do. And it just comes with the territory. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know about you guys, but a lot of times I find myself having a hard time falling asleep. I don't know. Maybe it's just, I get off of work and I'm still a little bit riled up from work or have too much energy. Or sometimes I feel like I'm just thinking about sleeping too much and then I can't fall asleep. I don't know if that's happened to you guys, but that definitely has happened to me where I'm like, oh, I'm ready to get good sleep tonight. And then I lay in bed and I'm like, okay, it's not happening. So what I've been using recently is called Som Sleep, right? So it's a sleep drink in a small can. It's berry flavored and it helps you fall asleep in as little as 30 minutes. And the best part is you wake up feeling refreshed. So it's like it's honestly just a little drink can, right? And I have it on the side of the bed at night. And whenever I'm ready to go to bed, or whenever I'm like 30 minutes from getting ready to go to bed, I'll drink it, right? And they have zero sugar options as well. And they have the original, but I use a zero sugar option. And then I drink it. And the next thing I know, I'm just like falling into a deep sleep. And it feels so good. And the best part of it is it's vegan and dairy free. It's gluten and allergen free, has no artificial colors or flavors, and it's non-GMO. And it has ingredients that are naturally found in your body, like magnesium and melatonin. And so it's really, really great for you because you pass out and then you wake up like you've had the best sleep of your life. So are you curious to try a sleep drink? For the first time ever, Som Sleep is giving away free samples. So if you're not sure and you want to try it, you can definitely do this for free. Som Sleep. All you have to do is sign up at getsom, getsom.com/pages/podcast. That's getsom.com/pages/podcast. Som Sleep is a drug-free and non-habit forming drink. Getting quality sleep is more important than ever to keep your immune system strong to avoid catching viruses. Som Sleep, it gives you Z's. So what was so as somebody that was almost in the house, right? You see the cast gets released on, live. So what are you thinking? Like, what were your first impressions of the cast?
How bad I freaking messed up because I feel like I would have been in such a good spot. I feel like, I didn't realize how many good friends I had going in. I was like, dude, what the hell? When I saw the lineup, I was like, wow, I really fucked up. I really messed up because I would have been good. But now watching it, I kind of had to detach myself from, I did what if I was in there? I was supposed to be in there. And now I'm able to just I'm getting to the point where I'm enjoying it as just a fan and as a friend to these people.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, and I'm happy for dude, it's a huge mess right now. It's just, I feel like everybody's working with everyone and it's a lot to keep up with. But I think for Nick, I love the whole winners dynamic. I feel like I 100% would have been in with Nicole and Ian.
Uh-huh.
They're I'm huge. First off, huge fan of them. They're one of my favorite winners, both of them. And then just I feel like me and Nicole instantly would have just jived and worked together. So I want to see both of them go really, really far. So yeah, just seeing that whole dynamic, and I feel like Nicole's in a really good spot also because she does have numbers on her side.
Absolutely.
So it's exciting to watch her game for sure.
Is there people that you saw from older seasons that you're like, man, it would have been great to meet them and play with them?
I think Janelle and Kaser, yeah. I think Janelle and Kaser. I feel like I would have worked with them. I kind of said it in all my interviews. The reason why I would have worked with some of these old school, OG vets is because, bro, look at Janelle. She's the biggest target in the game. So I have such a massive personality that, I would have definitely aligned with her because it's she's always going to be a target. She's always going to be. Yeah, exactly. So that was my strategy with that. So I definitely would have worked with them. But I think that, sucks for her because I feel like she's just always going to be... Dude, always gonna have that huge target on her back and be nominated,
Yeah, absolutely. And this episode is gonna come out on Thursday. What are your predictions going into the elimination? What do you think is gonna happen?
Okay, so last night I didn't really watch feeds last night, but I saw the tweets also. Mm-hmm. I feel like people are leaning. The house is basically split right now.
Yeah.
It's half is going for David, half is going for Nicole A. To be honest with you, I think they're both sweet and they're both nice people, but they're kind of playing a floaters game. I feel like they're the ultimate floaters this season. Mm-hmm. And they're not really tied in with everyone like that.
Yeah, and that's honestly why they're in the situation that they're in now, because they didn't establish those relationships right off the jump.
For sure. I do want to see David stay, though, because I feel like if David stays, he's going to go after Memphis, and I'm not a fan of that guy.
And that would make for such good TV, too.
Great TV. I feel like Nicole A is just all over the place. Sweet girl, nothing against her, but it's just too much, and she, flipped on Janelle and Kaser, and then she's flipping on... It's just... I feel like she's just doing way too much.
Yeah.
So I would love to see David stay just for like TV purposes and just blow up some people's games. Yeah. Hopefully.
And I feel bad too, just because he hasn't really had a chance to. I mean, you can make the argument that he's been playing the game now for 2 weeks, but he really hasn't gotten a chance to get into the thick of Big Brother. Right, to make it far enough to be, having winning competitions and stuff. And that's he was saying that before, like I don't think he's won a competition on Big Brother, and that's once you win one, it gives you that energy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like that fire, that momentum to just keep going.
Yeah, or get an HOH and like, oh my gosh, I got power now. You know what I mean? Like that. It's such a good feeling, and I feel like he needs that, even just to get that Big Brother experience, right? Win something there.
For sure.
And so I think he can be a good competitor. I feel like he has to make some more relationships, establish more relationships in the house. And I think he has a good chance of staying. I think that Nicole's going home this week. Nicole A, obviously.
Same.
And that's my 2 cents on that. And just because, I don't know, I feel like what you're saying is how people feel in the house. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, and I agree with everything you said. And I also feel like, with David's situation, it's like, if I was in that house, I wouldn't see him as a threat, With Nicole A, I feel like in her season, she did win comps, she did win things. She was a very loyal player, but I feel like she is a bigger threat than him, just because he doesn't know how to really play the game as well and didn't make it as far. And we know that, like, the more time you get in there, the more experience you have, the more, like, aware you are socially of how to talk to people, how to game. So it's like, I just wouldn't see David as a threat right now. So that's another reason why I would just keep him.
Got you. And so a lot of the talk right now, I heard, I don't know if this is true or not, but there's another alliance I just formed. It's like 6 people, and they want to get out Janelle or Kesar, right? Do you think it's in their advantage to get them out right away, right now?
No. That's what I don't get.
Or is it a double-edged sword? Because if you keep them when you had the opportunity to get them out, and then what if the things align for them down the line, and then you can't get them out?
Me personally, Vic, I would not target them right off the bat. It's clear as day. They are not aligned with anyone. They are looking for people to work with.
Yeah.
They're literally, like, at this point, pulling strings with everyone, trying to, form an alliance. So it's like, why target the people that are already isolated, that don't have the numbers, and that are huge targets? For my game, I would have aligned with them or worked with them or cut a deal or something to where it's like, all right, you don't target me when you're HOH, I won't target you, and just keep them around, because that's always going to keep the eyes off of me. I feel like even with Nicole and Ian, like, I would love to see, I know that Janelle and Nicole don't really jive, but I feel like as winners, Nicole's always going to have a massive target no matter what.
That's what sucks.
No matter what. I know. And with this cast, what freaking sucks is that there's only 2 winners in there. I see this cast being, I don't want to say bitter, but I don't see this cast,
voting
not targeting.
Even at the end, right? Voting for a winner to win again.
For a winner to win. And if a winner makes it to final 2, they deserve to win, bro. It's like, you shouldn't even question that, but I don't see this cast doing that. So that's what sucks for them. I just wish that, I feel like Ian's leaning towards Janelle. I feel like Nicole, if she realized, like, hey, Janelle's always going to be a massive target, this is kind of a shield as well, because Nick's a winner, and she's a gamer, she's good. So I would love for her to, like, for that to work out, but I don't know if it will, Yeah. That's just how I would go about that situation.
And it makes sense. And I mean, the argument, nobody's wrong, right? The argument can be made both ways. It would scare me to death if, like, you got to a point where it's like, oh, we can get them out, but no, let's just wait. But then that wait for that next time just never came up, right?
That's true.
Align themselves in such a way or win things in such a way where it's like, freak.
Yeah.
Now we can't get them out, and it's a tough go, but I don't know. We'll see how things play out, but it's definitely I don't know. It makes it. I've never actually watched Big Brother, so this is time I'm actually for the first time. Yeah, this is the first time I'm ever actually watching it and following it. I know last season we were podcasting about Big Brother and stuff, but Nicole was the one that was doing all that. I was just along for the ride.
Yeah.
So when I go to the grocery store and I go look for shampoo and conditioner, I don't know, I find myself just standing in the middle of the aisle and looking around and like, I don't know what is best for me. So many different brands with so many different things that they do for different types of hair. I'm like, I don't know what is exactly for me, right? Like what works for me. And since that's been happening to me now for the last, it's been months now. Nicole and I have been using Function of Beauty. So Function of Beauty is a hair care that is formulated specifically for you. No matter your hair type, they create shampoo, conditioner, and treatments to fit your unique needs. How unique, you ask? Well, Function of Beauty has over 54 trillion possible ingredient combinations. That just sounds ridiculous. 54 trillion to make sure your formula is as unique as you. So here's how it works. So first, you take a quiz, right? And through the quiz, you tell them a little bit about your hair. Next, Function of Beauty team determines the right blend of ingredients, then bottle your custom formula to order. Then they deliver you your personalized formula right to your door in a cute customized bottle with your favorite color and fragrance, and they even print your name on it. So I was kind of silly. So the one that I had says Vic, not Coco on it. So Nicole knows it's not for her. That one's for me. Plus, their formulas are vegan and cruelty-free. They never use sulfates, parabens, or any other harmful ingredients. Function of Beauty is not just the first custom hair care brand, right? It's the internet's top-rated customized hair care brand with over 40,000 real 5-star reviews and counting. So what are you waiting for? Go to functionofbeauty.com/Coco to take your 4-part hair profile quiz and save 20% off your first order. That's functionofbeauty.com/Coco for 20% off, and let them know you heard about it from our show. That's functionofbeauty.com/Coco. So I want to change gears here with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you are Cuban, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So what are your favorite Cubano? What are your favorite Cuban foods?
Oh, dude, freaking I mean, I love Cuban food. I would say congri.
So what is congri for somebody that would never know?
Yeah. So congri, it's basically rice mixed with beans, but they cook it and season it where it's like this, I don't even know how to explain it. It's just so good. It's just a rice mixed with beans, but it's so good.
It's cooked and seasoned in a way to make it a dish, right? It's not just rice and beans.
Yeah, there we go.
Got you.
And I would say either like lomo salteado, which is like skirt steak with onions and bell peppers and all mixed and seasoned so good. That's my favorite. And like fried plantains. I don't know. I love food. I love food. I love Cuban food. It's just
is mofongo a thing in Cuba también?
Mofongo is not. It's more like a Dominican Republic dish, but we do eat it also. That is pretty fire.
Mofongo is my favorite. For people that don't know what mofongo is, it's basically plantains that you fry them kind of. Because you cut them like an inch thick and then you fry them, but then you mush them up together and then you add some garlic and some seasoning and then you make it into a mound and then you maybe put like some oil on top of that and then you eat that with some meat or something, or you can stuff it with meat.
You just gave me my lunch idea. I'm gonna order mofongo.
Well, see,
that's the move.
That's why I'm so jealous of you. So you live in Miami where all that is readily available to you. If I want mofongo, I gotta pray to the gods of Latin food that when I go to Walmart, that they have the right plantains for me to cook it. If not,
no way.
Yeah, it's not happening, right?
So there's no like Latin spot by where you're at, like no.
Dude,
Puerto Rican joint,
nothing.
Oh wow, Vic, that's rough.
if on the off chance there was, it would probably be somewhere around 2 hours away from here. So it's not, it's not. And that's why I love going to visit my family, because my mom hooks it up, right?
Oh yeah,
and or going to Puerto Rico, obviously, which is the best of all of them, right? Just go there and eat whatever they have there. So yeah,
when you come visit and you guys stay with me out here, I'll take you to all the Spanish spots.
Dude, I love it. It's so unhealthy for you, but it tastes so good.
Oh, but it's so good, yeah. So bad, but so good.
So were you born in Miami or are you originally from Cuba?
No, so I was born in Jersey. So I was born and raised in Western New York, New Jersey, and I lived there till I was 10, and then we moved to Miami. And what's crazy is I've never been to Cuba. So I've never been to Cuba. Been to PR, been to Puerto Rico, been to the Dominican Republic, basically everywhere but Cuba. But like, obviously, you know, growing up first generation, like my culture, my first language was Spanish.
Yeah, same here. Yep.
So my parents, you know, didn't teach us. I mean, I learned English when I was in school. When I was like 6, 7 years old.
People ask me that all the time because I was the same way. I learned Spanish, and the problem was it's not like the Spanish that you would learn in a school, right? Not like literature and writing and stuff like that. It's that home Spanish, right?
Slang,
yeah, that slang Spanish, and then then I learned English in school, but then. I think after Hurricane Katrina hit 2005, I went to Puerto Rico for my 9th grade year, and everything was in Spanish. And then it's like people over here were like, "Oh, but you know Spanish?" Yeah, I do, but I'm not reading Shakespeare in Spanish, and I'm not typing an essay in Spanish. You know?
Yeah. I feel you on that because I mean I can read Spanish, but I can't write Spanish.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like I can write it, but am I gonna have? I mean, is it going to be entirely grammatically correct? I don't know. I hope so. But I just know it as well as I can say it and be like, oh, yeah, this sounds right. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't know. And what's the play there? When are you going to go to Cuba?
So, dude, I've been planning a trip to Cuba, but since like probably the past 3-4 years with my siblings. To be honest with you, I think my parents, what it is my parents fled Cuba, like they left Cuba in the 80s. So like when this whole Cubanism, when Fidel got in power and all that stuff.
They were refugees,
left. Yeah, they're refugees. And because of the poverty and all that stuff. So they have like this sort of like trauma or like bad experience with it where like they never want to go back. They've never been back.
I can understand that. I can understand their perspective on that because that was tough. I can't imagine.
Yeah, so that was rough, but I think now with everything has changed, everything has gotten way better, and they understand that like I want to go. I have so much family there. It's like I feel like I'm missing something. Like I want to go and see the country and the places that they're from and all that stuff. So it's like I definitely want to plan a trip. Hopefully, when this whole pandemic is over next summer. If I'm not filming or anything like that. But I definitely want to go. The closest thing that I've been to it's Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Like Puerto Rico, we've gone and my dad's like, oh, this is just like similar to Cuba. So that's the closest I've come to visiting Cuba. But
and for people that don't know, around that time, the dictatorship and everything, if you were to flee Cuba and you didn't quite make it, right? You didn't quite make it to shore. If you got caught in the waters before you made it to shore, they would send you back. And if you got sent back, a lot of times you'd become a political prisoner for trying to flee the country.
My grandfather was a political prisoner. My dad was able to get away, and he came in what we call a balsa, which is like a little small boat. Mm-hmm. And then, my family had to flee just because of it was so... the poverty that they were experiencing and just the town kind of turned on them when they weren't supporting Fidel, when they weren't supporting the new, the communism and they weren't part of that movement.
Regime.
The town and even family turned on them. So it was just not a good place to be. Yeah. So they all had to come to the States.
Yeah, it's a real for people that don't know that history. I mean, it's worth looking up. It's very interesting. Basically, in a quick synopsis, Fidel Castro did a coup d'état, right? Took over, and then he nationalized all the factories and every type of industry that was on the island that was actually not theirs. Let's say like American investments or South American investments or whatever overseas. which before then they were thriving. They were making really good money, highly educated. They had the best doctors in the world. They had all this stuff. And then when he did that, the U.S. said, okay. And then so he annexed them, hence the annexation of Cuba. Nobody could go in there and do any trade. And then that's when they became like a Soviet country because they needed help. Anyway, but so it got really bad really fast. So.
I mean, you can explain it way better than I can, but I think, you know what, and I've told you this a million times, but I think that what I always relate, even when I watched, you know, I was a fan of BB, but just seeing a Latino and seeing somebody that I could relate to and seeing, you know, somebody that had similar backgrounds because we're both Hispanic and all that stuff. And even like seeing your family clip, that was the one thing that was like, all right, I have a shot of getting on this show. We're complete opposites, by the way. I feel like you're way more chill, you're way more relaxed, but I saw somebody that reminded me of like a cousin or like my culture.
Looks like me. Looks like me.
A Latino, bro, and that is what literally watching you on season 18 was like what did it for me. I was like, all right, I have a shot. And I tried out because, bro, imagine watching the show you love for years and you don't see a Hispanic, you don't see a Latino on there.
Yeah.
I don't see anybody that I can relate or connect to or have anything similar with. So it was really weird. So when I saw you, I mean, I give a lot of credibility, and even in my interviews, which is funny, during casting I talked about you a lot.
No way. Really?
Yeah.
You're making my hair stand up, man.
Yeah. So I think it was huge for me to have someone like you represent, because it made me more comfortable to try out for the show, but also even to share my story of being a first generation and shit like that. And you know,
yeah, absolutely. And you know, I thank you for that. I mean, that's obviously something that I don't know. I don't see it, right? Because it's something that you're living through and but that's awesome. I'm happy that I was able to give that to you, and I wasn't trying to. I was just being myself.
You had no idea.
But the cool thing is, it keeps going, right? Because there is some kid watching Big Brother when you won your season, and it's like, man, hey, I can be, I'm a Spanish kid or a Spanish girl or whatever, and I can win Big Brother if I want to. I just got to go for it, So you give that same inspiration to somebody else that you won't ever know unless they tell you, Yep. So that's really that's cool, man. That that makes me feel good. So I want to do so. Normally with Nicole, I would do a Spanish word of the day. Right. Okay. But I'm not going to do a Spanish word of the day with you because you speak Spanish. So we're going to do an Italian word of the day.
Shit. All
right. Okay. So the Italian word of the day is fratello.
Oh, man. What the hell is that?
Fratello.
Is it a coffee?
It's not a coffee. No, it's not a coffee.
Okay.
It's not something like that, like material. It's not material. That's what I was going to say. It's not material. Yeah, fratello.
I'm cheating right now. I'm Googling it.
Tell me what you come up. Fratello. Fratello.
Wait, F-R-A-T-E-L-L-O. F-R-A-T-E-L-L-O. Okay. A watch.
No.
Am I right? Oh, brother.
Brother.
Oh, brother. Okay. Fratello. Mi hermano, fratello. Uh-huh. Oh, that's good. All right, so we learned something here. I had no idea.
We learned something new.
I thought it was a frap or something.
It's funny because I was nervous because Italian is so similar to Spanish in so many ways that I thought I was going to type in brother. It was going to be something that like hermano. I thought it was going to be something similar to that and be like, oh man, I can't use that. All right. So another thing I do with Nicole right after we do our Spanish word of the day is weird or normal. Okay. Yeah, you've done weird or normal with us before.
I remember this one, yeah. I got judged for, what was it, Q-tips?
You flush your Q-tips down the toilet. Do you still do that, by the way?
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Oh, that's hilarious. Okay, so I was doing this today, this thing that I'm about to say. I was doing it today, and I was like, man, maybe some people might think this is weird. All right, so what I do is I brew my coffee, right? And then the coffee pot, just a normal coffee pot, old school, I brew it. And then I'll let it sit for a little bit, and then in the coffee pot itself, I'll add milk and sugar and mix it right there, and then pour it.
Normal.
You do that?
Yeah, I think that's, you know what? I feel like, so I don't do it, but I've seen my sister and my mom, and they've done that before. But also, like, you know, you've seen the little Cuban coffee, like, where they make
Cafecito.
I feel like they do that, where they make the cafecito.
Yeah.
If you go to a bakery, like a Cuban bakery or things like that, they usually do that. They'll mix in the milk and the sugar and just mix it up for you and pour it. So I say normal.
Yeah, because I don't know. Nicole would see me do that, and she's like, what the heck are you doing? I was like, well, I mix it right in the coffee pot. That way, every cup that I pour, it's already mixed. I don't have to mix it every time I pour it into the cup. I mean, I guess it only really works if it's just me, right? Because if somebody else likes their coffee a little bit different, you know.
That's true. That's true.
But I don't know. I just thought, I don't know. Anybody listening, tell me if that's weird or normal, because I think that's normal kind of weird. I don't know.
Yeah, normal kind of weird. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
All right, so I also wanted to tell you a story what I had going on when Nicole was here. So I was baking. Do you like to bake? Are you a baker by chance?
I'm not a baker, but I'll eat anything you bake.
Okay. You might not want to eat this though. So I was sitting with Nicole, and Nicole said she wanted a dessert or something. You know, I was like, you know what? I'm going to bake you some cookies. Right. Normally I don't have the urge to do that stuff. That's normally Nicole's thing, right? She'll go bake cookies and stuff. I was like, you know what? I'm going to bake you some cookies. And I type in Google, I go best cookie recipe, like best chocolate chip cookie recipe, whatever it was.
Oh man.
So I find it and I'm like, oh, this is legit. And I look, and I'm like, oh, we got all the ingredients, right? You need sugar, a little salt, flour, some type of starch, baking soda, right? Or yeast or whatever to make it rise.
Yeah.
Milk, eggs, margarine, stick of butter. I was like, oh, we got all that stuff. Chocolate chips, perfect. So I mix everything, right? And I do and I'm like, man, this is a little runny. Like the dough is a little runny, but I'm like, it should be fine, right? So I put it in the pan, I put it in the oven. They come out and they look like trash, right? They're all flat. They're all like, they're still runny, right? They never like really got hard. I mean, they were a little bit hard, but they just looked like straight up trash, and they tasted like poo. Right?
Oh my God, that's awful.
And I'm like, what the? I'm like, there's no way. I was like, and I looked at the instructions like 10 times, like afterwards. I'm like, I did everything. I followed the instructions to the T. And Nicole's looking at these cookies, and she's like, okay, show me the ingredients that you use. And I was like, babe, I got everything. Look, this is the sugar. This is the milk that I was using, the eggs. Here's the flour. And she goes, wait, what? Here's the flour. She goes, babe, that's not flour. That's powdered sugar. I was like, what?
Oh, my God. That's some shit I would do, too.
I was like,
so I won't give you too much. I won't give you too much slack for that, because that's something I would do.
It looks exactly the same. And it was like, it was in the area where I thought the flour would be. So I was like, why would you even put that? Why do we have such a big thing of powdered sugar? It was huge. It was a huge bag of powdered sugar. I was like, why do we need that much powdered sugar? It doesn't even make any sense.
You try to do something nice and you completely mess it up.
Dude,
Yeah, leave the baking to Nicole. Just don't bake until she gets home. No more baking.
I swear, dude, it's so bad. And then last night, I had a similar experience last night. Last night, I had a long day. Like, I went golfing. I went to the gym. I did the lawn work. And then, finally winding down here. And I was like, you know what? I had this steak that I had marinated. And this steak had been marinating for like 3 days, right? Some olive oil, salt, pepper, some herbs on it. And I wrapped it up in tin foil. And I'm like, man, this is going to be the most bomb steak you've ever had, right? Like, I'm all excited about this steak. So I go outside, I get the grill ready, I heat her up, I scrape it down, get it to like 500 degrees, 450, something like that. Yeah. And so once it's ready to go, I throw the steak on there, and I come back inside, because I'm like, well, you leave the steak out there for a few minutes, before you flip it, get it. I want like medium well, medium. And so, anyway, I'm doing something in here. I think I'm getting the stuffing ready because I'm just going to have steak and stuffing, right, with some gravy.
Yeah.
That's just going to be, that's the fix for the night.
Oh, that sounds so good.
Very simple, but just with some A1 steak sauce, it's going to be bomb.
Oh, fire.
Dude, I walk outside and there is a fire in my grill. Like a straight up, the whole thing, it's engulfed in flames. Flames. There's flames coming out of the grill.
My God.
I'm like, oh my gosh, what the? And I open it up and it's just burnt. I mean, everything's just engulfed. And I pull out the steak, and it's just all black charred. Just
bro, Nicole's gonna get home, and you're gonna have the whole house in a riot. She's gonna be like, "What the fuck? Has Victor done the whole time I've been gone?"
I was
Holy
like, man,
shit.
what the heck did I do? And the poor little steak, it shriveled up, and it was just hard. I mean, no way, nobody was gonna eat that. I was like, oh my gosh.
Listen, no more baking, no more cooking till Nicole gets home. Just overeat it. Literally, just order out.
Oh man,
keep it safe.
Well, the problem was last night I was so hungry. I was like, man, now I got to make something else, right? Because I had
oh my God.
The value of that. I was so pissed. So I ended up making like some homemade burgers, and then I threw those on the grill, and I stood out there the whole time. But man, I was like, what my luck, dude? How does that even happen to me? That doesn't even make sense.
Rough. That's rough. That's rough.
But anyway,
I miss Nicole for you, dude.
Dude, you know what? I took a lot of things for granted. I'm not gonna lie. Like, for example, every day she would always cook, right? She cooks all the time, and then every day when I went to work, she would have my lunch pail ready with lunch in there, maybe a PB&J sandwich as a snack, and then maybe some chips and cookies, right?
Oh, nice.
Every day she would have that ready to go, and then my coffee. It would just be sitting on the counter, and she'd be like, "Hey, don't forget to take your lunch and your coffee." And be like, "Oh, cool."
Yeah.
And then I just got used to it. And now, dude, I can't tell you how many frozen pizzas I've eaten ever since Nicole's been gone.
Oh, God, dude.
It's so bad. It's so bad. Thing is, I used to cook for myself all the time, but now it's just like I got so used to Nicole doing it, and now I'm like,
Oh, of course.
What's quick?
And I mean, you're working. You're crushing it. So you don't have the time sometimes. So it's just... rough, but I mean, listen, the good thing is hopefully she God willing, she becomes a 2-time winner. She brings that money home, and then she'll be able to cook all the nice dinners. No more burning steak. No more burning cookies. No more burning steaks.
I gotta. I'll do better. I'll do better. But anyway, thanks, Josh. Thank you so much.
Thank you, brother,
for hopping on with me. It's always a pleasure, and we'll definitely meet up here sometime soon. Hopefully, when Nicole gets out, we can all do something. So
for sure. I mean, listen. Anytime you're game, I'm down to always talk about BB or just jump on the podcast. So I'm always down. So you just let me know, and I'll be here.
I appreciate you, homie, and I appreciate the checking in text from you. Those are really
brother.
Nice. All right, I'll talk to you soon.
For sure, brother. All right, brother. Bye.
I hope you guys enjoyed that with Josh. If you can hear carefully outside, somebody's mowing the lawn, and I can't tell him to stop mowing, but he's far away now. So anyway, I don't know. I'm just very particular about sounds, and I can hear that. So, but no big deal. But now I'm going to read a review from our reviews because you guys are awesome. And this having Nicole gone really sucks. So I look at these and I'm like, man, I'm doing something right. You know what I mean? Like, you guys are awesome. That's all I have to say. Like, I really appreciate you guys. So here we go. This one's called My Favorite Podcast, 5 stars by Kala, CALLAAA. You guys are the best. Love hearing the real-time thoughts on the current BB season. On the current season of BB, sorry. Vic, you're doing a great job holding down the fort while Nicole's away, and Jenny doing a great job for stepping in to help, cheering for another Nicole win. Aren't we all cheering for another Nicole win? Thank you guys so much. Please don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. The easiest way is on Apple Podcasts. You can listen to this anywhere you listen to podcasts. You can tell your friends, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, or they can always go to www.cococalientepodcast.com, and you can check out our merchandise. If you didn't notice, which I did the other night, Nicole is wearing our shirts in the Big Brother house. Yeah, the Coco Caliente shirt. So definitely big support. So go to the website, get a shirt. Don't forget to follow us at Coco Caliente Pod on Twitter and at Coco Caliente Podcast on Instagram. See ya.